Welcome back to Wisdom Unveiled. Today, we're going to get into one of Al-Farabi's most incredible and, honestly, most useful metaphors, this idea of the soul as a polished mirror. Okay, but before we dive in, just a quick reminder for everyone. This explainer is our best effort at translating some really deep conversations with Iranian philosophers, folks like Dr. Ebrahim Dinani and Dr. Esmail Mansouri Larijani. We're doing our best to get the essence, but if anything's a little off, we do apologize in advance.
So, if you were with us last time, you'll remember we were deep into Farabi's 6 levels of the intellect, and we kind of left off on a cliffhanger with this really big question. What kind of mind are we actually trying to build here?
To even begin to answer that, we've got to start with Section 1, connecting to the light. See, for Al-Farabi, you can't build a mind without understanding how it connects to truth itself. And he had a special name for this connection, illuminative knowledge, or Ishraq.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Ishraq sounds super mystical, right? But Farabi's point is actually pretty straightforward. He's saying that any real moment of understanding, whether it's a huge aha moment or just grasping a simple idea, isn't something your brain is just cooking up from scratch. No, it's more like a flicker of light, a reflection from a source of truth that's, well, not physical. And this idea, it just throws us right into this huge age-old debate, which brings us to Section 2, the nature of perception. We're going to tackle that fundamental question, where do our thoughts, our awareness actually come from?
Okay, so look at this. It's really a clash of two completely different ways of seeing the world. The modern view, it generally says our physical brain, our neurons and synapses, creates our mind, our consciousness. But Farabi, he just flips that whole idea on its head. He'd ask, wait a minute, how do you even know about brain cells? You know about them because you perceive them, because you have a mind. For him, awareness has to come first.
Which, of course, raises the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If our consciousness isn't just a side effect of our biology, then what is it? Where in the world does it come from?
And Farabi's answer isn't some complex scientific equation. It's a metaphor, a beautiful, powerful metaphor that's really the core of what we're talking about today. So in Section 3, let's explore this mirror for the soul. He asks us to do a little thought experiment. Imagine your soul, your consciousness, your true self, is a perfectly made mirror. Its whole purpose isn't to create stuff, but to reflect. And what's it designed to reflect? Just, all of reality. The truth of everything. No big deal, right? But we all know what happens to a mirror if you just leave it sitting around. It gets dusty, it gets smudged, it gets tarnished. Pretty soon, it's not reflecting anything clearly at all. So what's the cleaning supply for the soul's mirror? What keeps it shiny and bright?
And that's where we get to the heart of it. That brings us to Section 4, the intellect's true job. This is where Farabi reveals what the intellect really is, and it's probably not what you think.
Get this. The intellect, Farabi says, is the polish. The original word he used was sickle, which means to polish or burnish something until it shines. So the intellect is what gives the soul its clarity, its ability to reflect. And this is a really crucial point. Farabi doesn't see the intellect as just another tool in the mental toolbox, right next to memory or your sense of sight. It's not a faculty in the soul. It's the very quality of the soul's clearness. Without that polish, all the other faculties just don't work right. The mirror stays dark, and it can't reflect a thing. But here's the catch. That clarity isn't a given. It's not our default setting. And this is where Farabi connects knowing with living, thinking with doing. So in Section 5, let's talk about the price of clarity and what happens when we don't pay up. So what's the tarnish? According to Farabi, it's all those lower impulses. You know what I'm talking about. Greed, anger, lust, all those worldly desires when they run wild. And here's the key. For Farabi, these aren't just moral problems. They are cognitive problems. They're literally like a thick layer of grime that builds up on the mirror, blocking it, distorting its reflection. The result? Our perception of reality itself gets warped. And this is really the core of it all. For Farabi, you can't separate clear thinking from ethical living. They are two sides of the same coin. You just can't have one without the other. So the big idea here is that clarity isn't something you're just handed. It's a choice, a constant, active choice to keep that mirror clean. Which brings us to our final and maybe most important section. Section 6, polishing your mirror. Okay, so if clarity is a choice, how do we choose it?
How do we actually apply this ancient idea and start polishing our own mirrors right here, right now?
I mean, this quote from Farabi just says it all, doesn't it? He says that if a soul is kept pure, polished up by the intellect, and not all gunked up by those lower desires, its potential is, well, it's incredible. It can reflect not just the world around us, but what he calls the malakut, that higher, non-physical reality of pure truth. And here we are, full circle. We started out asking, what kind of mind are we building? Farabi's answer totally reframes that whole project. Building a mind isn't about cramming more facts into your head. It's about the lifelong act of polishing the mirror of your soul so it can better reflect the truth that's already out there, waiting.
And so I want to leave you with that, a question that this 1,000-year-old philosophy is asking each and every one of us. A very personal question. If your soul is a mirror, what is it reflecting today?